I let my best friend go to jail for something I did, and I stayed quiet. For a long time, I told myself it wasn't that simple, but it kind of is. Let me go back. I was 16 when I dropped out of school. No big speech, no dramatic moment. I just stopped showing up. At the time, it felt like freedom. No teachers, no rules, no pressure, just me and whatever I wanted to do that day. My family was strict in that quiet way. They believed in discipline, but they didn't really look too closely. As long as I wasn't bringing cops to the door, they assumed I was fine. I wasn't fine. I started small. Convenience stores, snacks, cheap accessories, stuff nobody would chase you for. It wasn't about the money, it was about feeling alive, like I had control over something. That's when Jake and I got closer. Jake wasn't perfect. None of us were. Same age, same messy background, same boredom. But he had something I didn't. He trusted people. Especially me. We were always together. Late nights, stupid jokes, acting like the world couldn't touch us. He followed my lead most of the time. I think he thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't. One night, we needed cash. Not a fortune, just enough to feel less broke. There was this small electronics shop near the edge of town. Quiet street, dim lights. We'd walked past it 100 times. The plan wasn't even a plan, just, let's do it. I noticed the cameras first. I remember the tiny red light blinking. I remember telling him it would be quick, in and out. I was the one who went behind the counter. I was the one who opened the register. Jake just stood there, nervous but loyal. For a second, it felt easy. Then it wasn't. The shop owner must have checked the cameras fast, because the cops showed up quicker than I expected. I still remember the sound of the siren echoing down that empty street. My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. Jake looked at me. Not scared, not angry, just waiting. Waiting for me to say something, to fix it, to lead. And I froze. At the station, they asked questions. Simple ones. Who went behind the counter? Who opened the register? I could have said, "It was me." I didn't. I stayed quiet. And when they started assuming it was Jake, I nodded. Not some dramatic lie, not some big story. Just silence. Just a small nod. That was enough. They took him, and they let me walk. I remember stepping outside the station and feeling relief. Pure, disgusting relief. No cuffs, no call to my parents, no detention. I told myself I survived. But that's not what survival is. That's cowardice. A week later, I saw him in court. He didn't look at me. I don't know if he knew yet. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't want to believe it. When they sent him to juvenile detention, I told myself I'd fix it somehow. Visit him. Explain. Do something. I didn't. And the worst part? He still thought I was his best friend when they closed that door behind him. The silence got loud. At first I told myself I was fine. I was still free. Still sleeping in my own bed, still walking around like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I'd sit in my room at night, lights off, just staring at the ceiling, watching car headlights slide across the wall. And every time it got quiet, my brain would replay that moment at the station. The nod. Just a small movement of my head. That's all it took. I started imagining him in there. The detention center. The metal doors. The echo in the hallways. Him sitting on a thin mattress, probably staring at the wall the same way I was. except he was there because of me. I tried distracting myself. Video games, new people, odd jobs for cash, anything to feel busy. But every time I laughed at something, it felt wrong. Like I was stealing happiness that didn't belong to me. Then the nightmares started. Nothing dramatic, no monsters, just him. Him yelling at me trying to explain, him not listening, me shrinking smaller and smaller until I couldn't even look at him. And the worst part? I'd wake up and the guilt would still be there. Nightmares end. This didn't. One day, a mutual friend texted me. "Jake tried to call you." Just one call. I remember staring at my phone like it was something dangerous. His name on the screen, my thumb hovering over it. I didn't answer. I told myself he hated me, that he didn't actually want to talk, that it would just make things worse. Truth is, I was scared. Scared of hearing his voice. Scared he'd ask me straight up. Scared I'd have to admit what I did. So I let it ring. And that might have hurt more than the nod. Months passed. I stopped sleeping properly. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about all the ways I could have changed that night. If I had just spoken up. If I had just taken the blame. If I had just been brave for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. That's all it would have taken. My family noticed I was different, quieter, colder. They'd ask what was wrong. I'd shrug, say I was stressed. They didn't push. Nobody ever does when the truth is too heavy. People think guilt fades over time. It doesn't. It changes shape. It becomes background noise, a shadow that follows you everywhere. You can laugh, you can work, you can even have good days, but it's still there. And here's the part I hate admitting. If I was that scared again, I might do it again. Not because I want to hurt him, not because I'm proud of it, but because fear is stronger than most people admit. It makes you selfish. It makes you small. And that night, I was small. When I see stories about kids in juvenile detention, I think about him. When I hear someone complain about rules or school or strict parents, I think about how lucky I was. Lucky. That word doesn't sit right with me anymore. Because luck isn't justice. I don't tell this story. Not to my family, not to friends, not to anyone who asks if I've ever been in trouble. I just carry it. Maybe one day he'll get out, and I'll have to look him in the eyes again. Maybe he already knows. Maybe he's been waiting for me to say something. I don't know. All I know is, surviving with guilt is harder than facing the consequences ever would have been. And that's something I learned too late.